Hello and welcome, my name's Sam and this is The Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today and thank you for joining me for our first card of the week for the stamp set Hot Air Balloons. And what a glorious day we have got it. It is the perfect day for flying in hot air balloons, I think. It's beautifully sunny outside and that makes me a very happy person. So this is the card we're going to create. This is the stamp set that is going to allow us to do it. So it's the hot air balloon. It was in last year's catalogue and thankfully it's been carried over this year. And I've been lucky enough to get my paws on a set. So let's have a look, as I normally do, with the page that I stamp out. So there are 12 stamps in total. 4 are of sentiments. So we've got up, up and away, hooray, it's your day. Oh, no, sorry, up, up and away, hooray, it's your birthday. Hang in there, wish big, and just a note to lift you up. So you've got 2 actual balloons on stamps, but there are 3. I think there are 3. Yes, there are 3 actual dies. So one of them you can cut out without having to stamp. So these 2 go together, which we'll be using in a minute, and these 2 can fill in here. This section for this balloon, or this particular one down here works in there as well. So let's bring in the supplies. So we have got Afternoon's Azure, which is 8 inches by 5 3/4. I have a piece of designer series paper. Now this designer series paper is actually the designer series paper that came with the stamp set and dies last year, and I have some pages left, so I'm using those up. But obviously any designer series paper that you think works well is perfect. If you're anything like me, you will have a stock of it aside. So this measures 5.5 by 3 3/4. I then have another piece of the blue that measures 3 1/8 and 4 7/8, which gives me a layer of 3 3/4 by 3 inches of the basic white. I've also have already cut out a banner in the Whisper White from using the dies, which we will use in a minute, and it gives us this section here. I have an inside layer for the card which measures 3 1/2 by 5 1/4, and the only other thing I have to use is this Stampin' Up masking paper. As I have run out of my post-it notes, I'm using my masking paper. It's literally comes on sticky on one side, and it works in exactly the same way as the post-it note would do. You just stamp on it, cut it out, and then for this time you peel off the back, which is what I've done here, and this is the one that goes on I'm going to use. Now just a footnote to that really, it's actually quite sticky, a lot stickier than the post-it note would be, so just dab it on your hand to take away some of the stickiness, but you could probably get 2 or 3 uses out of this paper. And the advantage of this over the post-it note is this is all sticky, so it will sit down, works really well when you're not just masking but when you're blending with brushes as well. So let's get on with the card. We're going to do, as usual, work mostly on the focal point here. I'm going to use Calypso, Coral, Lemon Lolly and Pebble Path on my colours for today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bigger stamp of the 2 I'm using, balloon, and I'm going to ink that up. Now obviously, as you know, I prefer when it's a big stamp to take pad to stamp and then rather the other way around, but obviously it is down to preference. So the one thing I am going to do with this, which is what I don't normally do, is I have a foam pad which I'm actually going to put underneath my piece of paper, just to give that a little bit more of a cushion, and then I'm going to move my stamp and make sure it's quite up close to the top, but sort of central on the card, and then push down. There we go. And then I'm just going to peel that off like so. I'm then going to take my masking cover and pop it down over the balloon. Okay, that's that way. And then I'm going to bring in the smaller balloon as well. So this smaller balloon comes with two, it's in two colours. I'm not quite sure what I closed that for. So going to ink this up. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp it here. Let's just do a bit more. There we go. And I'm going to put this one again up so it looks like it's flying off into the distance. Push that down. It gives me, oh, interesting, layer there. And then I'm going to do the same again, stamp it up, but it's going to be slightly further down. So this one's just taking off, so that one's going to sit there. Now you might be thinking, well, why are we masking? But when we bring in the next layer, you will see why. So this is the lemon lolly that we're bringing in now. Sit down. There we go. Right. So this one, lemon lolly, as I said. And what I want to do is I want to try and make sure that the Calypso coral shows through in this section here, and this section, and this section. And then we should have the perfect balloon. So I'm just going to bring that slightly down further so I can see straight over. And also I'm going to need to make sure that this edge matches up with this edge here. So let's see how we go. There we go. So once I'm happy that it is in place, I'm then going to push it down. And as you can see, it just overlaps slightly there. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the balloon on this side. So once again, tap it up and then bring it over. So this masking is more of a precaution rather than actually masking. Let's make sure we're in place and down. And it's just in case it goes over the balloon rather than I knowing full well it will. Right. That comes off. So then I'm going to put baskets onto the 3 balloons. So I'm going to use the bigger of the 2 baskets for my middle balloon, as it's the slightly larger one. And I might find that this balloon is a little bit further down than I thought it was going to be. So let's take that off, peel that off. There we go. Pop that down like so. Going to do the same with the smaller balloon, the smaller basket, and that goes over there. And as you can see, that one won't actually come all the way. So I'm just going to take a bit of this and pop it underneath so that I don't ink up my actual cushion. Okay, and then we will just tap it onto there. And as you can see, it definitely looks like it's only just taken off. Leaving the pebble path where it is, I'm going to bring in the sentiment, and today's sentiment I'm using is the words hang in there, and I'm going to stamp that onto my banner, which I'd already pre-cut. Let's tap that up, and then pop it there. Okay, that's that finished. And then using my dimensionals, I'm going to put 3 on the back of the main body of the banner. One in the middle, and then one each side. Oops, 3. Okay, that will now fit over here, and as you can see, layers perfectly. This now can be layered onto my smaller piece of the Azure Afternoon, and I'm just going to use my multi-purpose glue for that. Oops. She says, come on, here we go, it's coming out. That will layer up nicely onto here. With a nice little edging all the way around. The advantage of multi-purpose, obviously, is that you can readjust it should you wish to. And as the layer is quite thin all the way around, I want to make sure you can see it on all four sides. There we go, perfect. Now we can bring in our card. We're going to fold that in half like so. Bringing in my bond folder, I'm going to burnish. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal to glue the back of the DSP. And then there we are, go straight on. And then of course we can take our other piece now, and that we will put up again on the dimensional. So turn that over, and one in each corner and one in the middle, just to be happy that everything will stay where it's meant to. Oops. Come on, thank you. They're quite sticky, these ones are not coming off as easy as I would like, but I suppose that means that they're going to stay in place anyway, doesn't it really? And there we go. So that is in place. So the only thing to do now is to add my inside layer, and before I stick it down, I'm just going to wipe my sentiment, pop it back in the box, and then I'm going to bring out the other sentiment, which says just a note to lift you up. So hang in there, just a note to lift you up. Okay. There we are. And again, I'm going to stamp that in the pebble path. Okay. There we are. And then now, that can now be stuck down. And again, I'm going to use my multi-purpose just to give me a bit of added wiggle room. Okay. There we go. And then burnish once more with the bone folder to make sure it is in place. So there you go. Right, I hope you like that card. I think they're quite cute. There's the other one that we did, or I did as the example. Both colours work quite nicely. So I hope you like that card. As I say, back again on Wednesday for our second card in the series. Hopefully we'll catch up with you then. But whatever you do, stay safe and happy crafting. Take care. Bye.